to even include Michael Cohen in, because he's an innocent bystander. All he wants to do is protect his client, the president. Leave it alone. To go in there, Frankie, am I wrong here? And when you hear Judge Napolitano go in saying what they're doing, how they're doing, and Judge who's was on the show last week layers it down and breaks it down, this is where's the Constitution, Frankie, to protect us?
Well, I think you raised several great points, and one of the points that you raised about 10 minutes ago that I thought was better than anything is that
the Russian girl
is that everyone's for constitutional rights until it comes to going after someone they don't like, right? Yeah. So I remember when I was covering the first trial of John Gotti Jr., what they did was they secretly taped hours and hours and hours of conversations between him and his attorney in prison. So his attorney goes to visit him in prison, and they tape hours and hours and hours of conversation, and then they take little snippets of conversations that he had with his attorney, Richie Raybach, and use that to try and get him in trouble. And everyone said, and I would say to people, how do you do this? This is an attorney and his client having a private conversation. And everyone said the same thing. Well, it's John Gotti. There's some things, it doesn't matter. Now we're seeing the same thing with Donald Trump. Everyone's for constitutional rights as long as it's for constitutional rights for people they like. You know what? Yeah. The Constitution exists for people that you don't like. The Constitution exists for everybody,
including the President of the United States.
Exactly. Well, just because. So now the ACLU came out in favor of the raid on Michael Cohen's office.
Yes.
Now,
what was that?
Crazy.
Did you hear?
And Alan Dershowitz, who was on their national board for
did you see the
5
words?
decades.
Did you see Alan Dershowitz? The words were coming out of my mouth.
No.
Great,
so
right,
Dershowitz, apparently he is a stalwart defender of civil liberties. He defended the Nazis' right to march in Skokie. And he said, look, apparently for the ACLU, getting Donald Trump is now more important than protecting constitutional liberties. Now, think of what a dangerous precedent this sets. And again, this is disgusting. I'm sad about this whole thing. But on the one hand, I am glad that this is shining a light on the abuses that take place in the criminal justice system and the overreach of the Department of Justice. Because I've been talking about this for a decade, and no one's cared. But now that it's happening to Donald Trump and to Hillary Clinton and others, now people are starting to take notice. And I really hope that this is the tipping point for people, that we say enough is enough. Now, as Dershowitz said of Michael Cohen, when we start raiding attorneys' offices for their private files, then we are going down a slippery slope. And Dershowitz said, I'm not so concerned with the corrupt doctor or the corrupt lawyer that gets in trouble. I'm concerned with the innocent clients of these people who now has their information raided by the federal government. My lawyer, and who's representing a lot of people, he had his office raided by the federal government. And so a lot of people have their files held by the government. And you know what? They're all terrified now. And I don't blame them, because this is the climate that's been created.
And you can't have a guy like Sean Hannity, who happens to just chat with Michael Cohen. Like I sat next to Michael Cohen at the Donald Trump event a couple months ago, Trippiani, with Mark Serrano and my buddy, who he actually bought the table. My buddy bought the table. Joe, I was a guest. I sat next to Michael Cohen. Seemed like a great guy. Now, what if I said, Michael, oh my gosh, I got this problem. What do you think if that's so? What if he said, hey, Joe Piscopo, that's exactly what Sean did. Sean just said,
well, that's what Sean says he did. Yeah. I mean, I suspect that if that was all Sean did, Cohen wouldn't have had files on Hannity. So I suspect that it was something more than what Hannity's making it sound like.
In any case, he shouldn't. The judge had no right to ask that question, Frank.
Well, you're right about that. I do think that Hannity, if he did have, he said he might have paid him a $10 legal retainer in order to have attorney-client confidentiality. If that were the case, if he did have an expectation of an attorney-client relationship with him, Hannity, as he was defending him on television and on radio for weeks and months, he should have said, Michael has done some legal work for me, just in the interest of full disclosure. Now, Hannity doesn't pretend to be a journalist, but if you're going to be commenting and railing in defense of a guy that you have a legal relationship with, he should have disclosed that to the audience.
But it seems to me, and walk me through this, and you're welcome to call and let me know, 877-970-2999. There seems to be, they want to say, who's attached with the president? Let's take them
That's
down.
right. That's of course
and I don't know how. I don't know how that judge knew. She must have known that Sean talked with Michael Cohen, and that's what she was fishing for. This is my own opinion, and that she wanted Hannity's name out there, so Sean's on the cover of Daily News this morning. And they'll go after, why? Because he's close to the president. This is my opinion. 877-970-2999.